Have you ever wondered what the real secret to success is? Is it talent? Luck? Money? Well, today I'm going to share a story that might just change the way you think about success forever. It's a story about a young man who was desperate to find the answer to that very question. Our story begins with a young, ambitious man. He had big dreams and a burning desire to make a name for himself. He read every book he could find, listened to every successful person he could, but he still felt like he was missing a crucial piece of the puzzle. Frustrated, he heard tales of a wise old master who lived atop a distant mountain, a man who was said to hold the true secret to success. Determined, the young man packed his bags and began the long and difficult journey. He traveled for days, crossing rivers, hiking through dense forests, and climbing steep, rocky paths. The journey was grueling, testing his physical and mental limits. Many times, he thought about turning back, but the thought of discovering the secret kept him going. Finally, exhausted and weary, he reached the summit and saw a small, humble hut. An old man with a kind face and sparkling eyes sat peacefully outside. The young man bowed respectfully and said, "Master, I have traveled a great distance to find you. I've heard you know the secret to success. Please, I beg you, share it with me." The wise master simply smiled and gestured for the young man to follow him. They walked in silence to a nearby well. The master picked up an empty bucket, handed it to the young man, and said, "Fill this bucket with water." The young man was confused. He had come all this way for a profound secret, not to do chores. But he did as he was told, lowering the bucket and pulling it up, full of water. He presented the bucket to the master, expecting his reward. But the master took the bucket and, to the young man's shock, poured all the water out onto the dry ground. "Fill it again," the master said calmly. The young man was baffled, a bit annoyed even, but obeyed. He filled the bucket again, and again. The master poured it all out. This went on for what felt like hours. The sun beat down, and the young man's arms ached. His frustration grew with each empty bucket. "Master, why are you making me do this?" he finally exclaimed. "I came here for the secret to success, not to waste my time filling a bucket that you keep emptying." The master looked at him, his gaze steady and profound. "You want the secret to success?" he asked. He then picked up the bucket himself, but this time he pointed to the bottom. "Look closely." The young man peered inside and saw a small, almost invisible crack at the base of the bucket. Every time he filled it, a tiny stream of water had been leaking out. "This bucket," the master began, "is like your efforts, your war card. You fill it with your time, your energy, your passion. But there is a crack in it. This crack is your lack of a clear, unwavering goal. Without a specific destination, your efforts, no matter how great, will slowly leak away, leaving you with an empty bucket and a feeling of frustration." The young man was stunned. He realized he had been working hard, but without a single, defined purpose. He wanted to be successful. But what did that even mean to him? He had been chasing a vague idea, a shadow. The master continued, "The first secret to success is to have a crystal clear goal. You must know exactly what you want to achieve. But that's not all." He then led the young man to a large uncarved block of stone. He handed him a chisel and a hammer. "Now," he said, "I want you to carve a magnificent eagle out of this stone." The young man was overwhelmed. The stone was huge, and he had never carved anything in his life. "Master, that's impossible. I don't know how," he protested. The master smiled. "You don't need to carve the entire eagle today. Just make one single chip. One small, deliberate strike." Hesitantly, the young man took the chisel and hammer and struck the stone. A tiny piece flew off. "Good," said the master. "Come back tomorrow and do it again. Just one more chip." And so, day after day, the young man returned and made one small chip in the stone. At first, it seemed pointless. The giant block of stone barely looked any different. but weeks turned into months. The pile of tiny stone chips at his feet grew into a small mound, and slowly, miraculously, a shape began to emerge from the stone. The outline of a wing, the curve of a head, the sharp detail of a talon. The young man's focus shifted from the impossibility of the task to the satisfaction of each small, daily action. One day, he stepped back and was breathless. Before him stood a magnificent, powerful stone eagle, ready to take flight. It was a masterpiece he had done Italiana. He turned to the master, his eyes filled with tears of understanding. The master placed a hand on his shoulder. The second secret to success, decidedly, is consistent, daily action. Your grand goal may seem impossible, like this block of stone, but by breaking it down into a single, manageable task each day, and by doing it consistently, you can create something magnificent. The power is not in the single heroic effort, but in the relentless, daily chipping away. The young man finally understood. The secret wasn't some magic word or a hidden treasure. It was simple, yet profound. It was the combination of a clear, defined goal and the discipline of consistent, daily action toward that goal. It was about knowing where you're going and taking one small step every single day to get there. So, what is your block of stone? What is the magnificent eagle you want to carve out of your life? Don't be overwhelmed by its size. Just define it clearly, and then pick up your hammer and chisel. Make one small chip today, and another tomorrow, and the day after that. Your journey to success isn't a sprint. It's a marathon built of small, consistent steps. You have the power within you to create your own masterpiece. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more stories to inspire your journey. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, keep chipping away.